Our approach today is in 3 parts. We will begin with an overview of the library website, which includes how to access Griffith Open, where the databases are located, and Koha, our library catalog, which includes physical materials that you can find within the library itself and electronic. Then Dimfna will continue on with academic research skills, speaking about research supports, academic writing, referencing, and Zotero. And finally, Claire will speak about coping with pressure in the academic environment. Okay, so I am going to go into the library website here. I'll share my screen. Um, All right, and if you want to follow along, you can go to library.griffith.ie. There's no www in front of that. The things that we are going to cover today will be the Griffith Open repository, the library databases, and the catalog. So the first thing that I'll talk about is the Griffith Open, or as I call it, Griffith Go. And this is where you're going to find dissertations and other research that our faculty and students have done here at Griffith College. So you just click into continue reading, and then you can click here to access Griffith Open. Now, I'm not going to go and do a deep dive into the repository today, but if you are interested and you need help navigating it, please feel free to reach out to myself or one of my other colleagues in one of the other schools. So when you go into the repository, you can search it just by clicking in the search box, and you can see the recent submissions that have happened. I see a lot of these are in a pharma, so that's quite nice. Now, if you're in research methods, it's actually an excellent resource to see what other students have utilized for their research and actually how the dissertations are laid out. So that's actually a wonderful thing to use when you're in research methods for the formatting of such. To return to the main page, you can just click here where it says Griffith College Library. The next section I'll cover is the databases. You can access them in 2 separate ways. One, you can click down here and access them through the screen box under the Griffith Open. Otherwise, you can go up to the databases and online resources and drop down to the academic databases. Here is the listing of the databases that we have. It goes into a little bit of information about how you would log in, which is using your single sign-on, similar to how you do everything else here at Griffith College. There's a little bit about the library catalog, but I'm going to cover that next. And then you get to our databases. So EBSCO, and I'm not going to go into each one because it'll be too difficult to, and it will take up too much time. But we can easily set up another time to go through each one of the databases if you'd like to have that done. Otherwise, just touch base with myself or any of us in the other library, and it will be fine. Oops, let me get out of that. Okay, EBSCO, for those people in the different areas, has a focus on psych articles, business, and communications and mass media. The Irish newspaper archives, they have 4 centuries of newspaper articles throughout Ireland. Nexus Uni is a smaller subset of LexisNexis, and it has company profiles, international news, country reports, and marketing and other information. Sage is another full text journal articles, and you can see they're in many different course areas. Additionally, we have legal databases. Those are further down on the list. Now, if you are in law, I would suggest that you contact Dimphna and Rob in Dublin. This would not be my forte. I would be lovely to help you with the rest. To get back to the main database, you can just, the main library website, you can go up to the top and click into where it says Griffith College. That will take you back to the main page. Hopefully. And we must have a ton of people on here. So see if I can get back there. All right, so it must be very full. I'm going to go back to the repository and see if I can get, I'm going to see if I can get into Koha another way. If I go to books.griffith.ie is the library catalog. There we go. Normally, if you clicked on the Griffith College logo, it would take you right back to the catalog. I mean, right back to the library website. But perhaps we have so many people on it today that it's a little slow. So in order to get physical or electronic books at Griffith College, we use our Koha library catalog. Koha is an open source catalog, and so it's basically free to use in that sense. Up at the top is the search bar. Today, I'm going to do a search on business logistics because I know that there are the resources that we can do. Now, while that's searching, you'll notice when you were first at that page, you had a login, but you don't have to use that. You can just literally search from the search bar. So when business logistics came up, you'll see that we had 80 resources. Off to the side, on the left-hand side here, is ways that you can refine them. I could limit them to records that are available, which means that if the title was already checked out, it wouldn't show up. I could list it to a specific author. If your lecture sends you to a specific author, this might be another way to find it. What library it's going to be in, if it's going to be in Cork, Dublin, or Limerick. If you're only in Dublin and you're sitting in the library, I wouldn't be searching Limerick. Make sure you're choosing Dublin. And it'll list also the different types of resources. Some of our material is long-term, so it's checked out longer. Other things are short-term, checked out with a short-term loan. Down at the bottom are additional topics that you could look at that would tie in with the business logistics. And if you clicked on those, it would take you to things on project management or physical distribution, etc. If I go into the first record up here, it will give me a little bit more information about this actual physical book. So this title, there are 5 copies. 1 copy is in Dublin and 4 copies are in Limerick. So this number right here is called the call number. And the part that's the 658.7 refers to the subject of the book. The 3 letters after that are the main author. And so if you go to any other library, public library, usually in Ireland, and you went into the 658.7s, there would be other titles that would be very similar to this because this is a subject. If this was one of the titles that you were using in, say, a short report, you only had one little title that you might like to use, you can always click Cite and it will bring up the details for citing within Harvard. Okay, let me go back. Okay, I'm going back to this thing now. So in this list, you may see some that are electronic resource. So we have 2 different types of electronic resources here at Griffith College. One are VLE, and the VLE ones will say, click here to access online. Now, I'm going to click it and cross my fingers that it'll go in here. So on VLE books, you will have to put in your single sign-in, and then the book will come up. And these are only available to be read online. So you can't download these. So that's those ones. But if it says, for example, this one, this is a free electronic resource and Griffith College cannot guarantee the stability of the collection, that one is open source. And so if I clicked there on that one, we'll see, it will bring you, sorry, it will bring you to this page and it has the download URLs. And so you could download this book straight to your own machine and you could use it at forever. So that's pretty much how you use the physical, access the physical and the electronic titles in the catalog. The last thing I wanted to show is the lists. Now, lists is something that we are just beginning to work on. So there's just a limited number basically from my library currently, but there are few from other libraries. But these are the lists of the titles that tie to the module. So for example, if I look through here at the postgraduate degree in sustainable engineering management, module 4, and I click on those titles, there's going to be 10. And so most of those are going to be electronic resource because this is a part-time blended class. So the students are not usually on campus. So I think I added most materials that are in an electronic format. Some are the free ones that can be downloaded directly. Other ones are the VLE, which you could access individually online. Our goal would be to come up with module listings for every module that is currently being taught moving forward.